Hey everyone, I'm sure most of you already heard by now, Sylph is concluding for its final season. This is going to be one of the last few cups that we will probably be covering, but until then, I'll still be covering my monthly Sylph cups. Pretty sure that grassroots tournaments will still be around after Sylph, but might be in different form. That being said, this month is Arcana, and overall, I think the meta is pretty solid. A lot of the Pokemon have a lot of play, and it's been pretty fun in my opinion. This is the only tournament I've done so far in the month, but I was able to go 5-0. Overall, I think every Pokemon on my team actually saw a decent amount of use, so let's take a look at the footage and see how I got the sweep. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. Going into this first round here, you can see I rely a lot on my Jumpluff, Crustle, Cofagrigus, and Shiftry core, but Pelipper and Mew actually have a lot of utility as well. Overall, I think the Shiftry, Crustle, and Jumpluff combo is very, very strong. But as you can see here, I have Crustle as well. Crustle being pretty good into most things on the opponent's team outside of that Deoxys defense. And here comes Lurantis here. Lurantis is an interesting one too. It gets some moves very, very quickly, but it is on the more frail side as well. I think I'm content with just letting this go and then coming in with Jumpluff here and farming a lot of energy here. And this is going to be Tyrant. Tyrant's an interesting one because nothing really resists Dragon in this meta, but at the same time, I feel like despite having really good coverage against everything, it also is a little bit on the more frail end there too. So I personally am not a huge fan of it, but I know a couple of my friends did use that in Arcana quite a bit. Everything that this Lurantis throws is going to be resisted, so no big deal there. We can just safely let these moves go through. I decided to shield the second one, I guess, but it doesn't really matter too much there. All right, going to game number 2 here. We do get the bad lead. We do get the Deoxys defense, but I'm going to safe swap across Jumpluff here. And Jumpluff is going to be a pretty solid safe swap because it has a lot of play against everything on my opponent's team. So I'm just going to overfarm in case they're trying to swap to something else, but it looks like they're staying in here with Deoxys defense. So this is going to be pretty good for me. I'm going to just let these moves go through. Switch timers are going to be coming up soon. So as long as I don't have the Crustle on the Deoxys defense, I'm pretty content. And I'm forcing this Deoxys defense to debuff itself quite a bit. And here's the thing, my Cofagrigus actually has a lot of play against the entire team as well. Everything pretty much hits everything for at least neutral or super effective. So all this energy on Cofagrigus is going to be very valuable. Yeah, and Lurantis is going to come in here. I'm probably just going to stay in. Yeah, just throw all my moves, see what happens. If they choose not to shield this, I probably will swap, but no, they do let it go. And then now with a 2-to-1 shield advantage, I'm in a very commanding position here. My opponent does choose not to shield there because I think they essentially realized that it wasn't going to make a difference there. All right, going into game number 3 here too. Amoonguss, you don't see this super often, but it's kind of interesting. And I think, yeah, I might have miscalculated there too. I'm not really sure what my play was here. Maybe, let me see what happened in the back end. Yeah, I think because I had like decent checks in the back end, I just want to throw a move first to grab a shield. And now here comes the Agent Power, but that's okay. We do have the neutral Grass Knot here. So that is able to finish a Tyrant at that health range. And we still have the shield advantage, which is going to be pretty nice. And here comes a Gyarados here. Gyarados is going to pretty much have to let everything go. I personally might come in with Crustle here to absorb the energy. I think that might be the play, but let's see how this plays out. Yeah, that's just what I'm going to do. The smackdown damage is going to be kind of nice, helping put this close to Shadow Ball range. I think it'll probably be in Shadow Ball range afterward. I do have to shield everything from this Amoonguss. I'm pretty sure it has Foul Play. It has some type of dark move, I believe. Despite the poison and grass typing, yeah, it does have Foul Play. So I'm going to just Shadow Claw all the way down, and then now the Gyarados already kind of chunked. I am going to throw a Shadow Ball to try to finish it off, and yeah, that wraps it up for round number 1. Going to round number 2 here, I was looking at it, and I think my Crustle is actually pretty strong here. I ended up not bringing it into game number 1 actually, but then I realized that my opponent is actually running Fury Cutter Crustle, which makes my own Crustle much better. And we get a defense drop, which is kind of nice. And then they're going to throw X-Scissor, Bait here. I'm not going to shield again. You could tank a rock slide here. and I try to farm down. Unfortunately, I kind of miscalculate here, and I had a feeling this is probably just Exeter, but I decided to shield anyway, just to be safe, because I really need to maintain alignment here. And then they're coming back in here with their Runarigus, actually. Yeah, I was in the lead here, so that makes sense. I'm just throw back-to-back Shadow Balls. We do get both shields from the opponent, so it's definitely still worth shielding the Exeter, in my opinion. And then debuff Sand Tomb, and then my Mew moveset is Flame Charge with Rock Slide. I think it gives the best coverage for this cup, but there's a lot of different options. You can even run Ice Beam and stuff. Personally, I think this is a better coverage, but if you don't really have the TMs or you just don't want to play the TM roulette, you can just stick with whatever you get that might make more sense. There's a lot of options. I've seen Dragon Claw as well too. Again, you don't really have to shield anything here. One Shadow Ball is not enough to KO. And then I think my opponent knows that too, so that's why I threw a Sand Tomb to debuff me first. Alright, so looking into game number 2 here, because I saw the Fury Cutter Crustle, my own Crustle is going to be very strong. I just have to avoid the Runarigus, so I should be okay. It looks like I still don't bring the Crustle actually into my opponent's team. I guess I'm worried about... Oh, I guess the Ferrothorn is actually pretty annoying too. So there's 2 like not great matchups, but I have 3 pretty solid ones, and then 1 kind of more neutral one against Shiftry. Alright. So we are able to grab a shield there, and this is CMP, but I know that... Yeah, it ends up being Hurricane Yo too. So they did a great bait call in the lead there, and then CMP me on the second one. But they also do swap in the Crustle, so the Crustle is locked in at this point. I can't just throw the Weather Balls here, and the Weather Balls are definitely going to start adding up, so we potentially get another shield. Yeah, we get a shield from them. Switch timers are up at this point though, so I swap to my Cofagrigus and just tank the damage. I think the damage is going to be a little better for the Cofagrigus to tank. And then my Jump Bluff comes in. I'm going to try to Fairy Wind down. Fortunately, just an Exeter. And then they come in Pelipper, but cannot get a move off here too. Alright, and then coming back in with the Crustle here. And then able to farm that down as well. Alright, I think Cranberry is done for today, so we're going to let her hop off. But yeah, Ferrothorn in the back here too. Going to be a pretty solid matchup, even if they have Thunder. Thunder's just neutral, and then I'm just going to wing attack this down. All right, going into a game number 3 here. We do finally bring out the Crustle. Again, having pretty solid matchups overall, so this is going to be pretty nice. And then in the mirror, we're going to be in a good spot as well here too, because the Smackdowns just really add up. Of course, if they bait me with the X's, it could be a different story, but fortunately, it was just a... It was a Rock Slide, and then now we outpace to the Weather Ball here. So this is gonna be pretty big. Do I shield this? I guess I choose not to shield. Yeah, I choose not to shields. Had a feeling that. Okay, I probably should have thrown the Weather Ball. I don't know. Maybe I got a little greedy there. Either way, I am going to try to farm down here. Shield advantage. Jump Bluff is pretty solid. For against most things, and then we get. Yeah, and then, yeah, so we saw the third at this point, so we knew that Crustle has a lot of play into the entire lineup. They catch Rock Slide, but fortunately for us, that's definitely not a bad thing. And then I'm just going to no-shield a potential Shadow Bone, and then we get to Exorcist still. So yeah, Crustle really putting in work here. I guess I just chose not to bring it into games 1 and 2, but surprisingly, my opponent game 3 definitely worked out in my favor. Alright, going into round number 3 here against FinalBossAJ, we have a Mew Mirror here, so this is going to be interesting because, yeah, we don't really know what moveset they have. I think I'm just going to let this first one go. Yep, I do let the first one go, and then here comes a Shadow Aggron. Yeah, so this is what I was scared of. Shadow Aggron is pretty strong into my team. I kind of have to rely on a lot of neutral checks, especially because I don't have the X defense. One of the more reliable counters to Aggron. So yeah, so this is not the best time, but I think I win CMP here, so I'm just going to go for it, and we do get the Flame Charge off. I doubt she spends both shields right off the bat, and that is not the case, so that's pretty nice for me. And then now, I think I choose to, yeah, shield the Dragon Claw here too. And then I end up leaving with some energy here too. So, and then catching a Dragon Claw there, which is very nice. Shiftry coming in. So the main thing with Shiftry is there's a chance that they run Hurricane in this meta, so something to watch out for. It looks like FinalBossAJ is running Foul Play and Leaf Blade in all likelihood. Most people drop the Foul Play for Hurricane, so it seems unlikely they're running Hurricane with Foul Play. But yeah, it's Hurricane really for that matchup against Jump Left. You could tank one, but I just didn't feel like tanking a first Earthquake if there was one. But looks like we were in the clear for that one. All right, going to game number 2 here. I mean, again, I kind of expect to see Shadow Aggron because it's just so good. And here it is in the lead. Not the best time, but we do swap in my Mew at this point. Say Swap Mew is pretty strong overall. I mean, Shift is probably the one thing I really don't want to see. But I still do have that Flame Charge for it as well. And then we are going to get off this Rock Side here and decides not to shield us. So we do get alignment, which is kind of nice. And then actually it's her own Mew that comes in here and managing to get off a Rock Side as well, which is very, very nice. And then now here comes Aggron again. I'm just going to throw the Weather Ball to yeah, just do some massive damage. And I'm going to choose not to shield this. Yeah, Heavy Slam does quite a bit, but Conflict is on the bulkier end. Again, with this team composition, I just need to tag team the Aggron. There's really no very strict hard counter. Conflict is probably the best case scenario for it, just because I'm bulky enough to withstand the moves. I'm going to shield because I haven't seen anything besides Dragon Claw. It could be something else. But we're going to throw the Weather Ball when we have it, and hopefully it's enough to knock out, and it is. So, going to game number 3 here. We haven't seen the second moveset of this Mew yet, but let me just tell you, we're going to see it in this game number 3. All right, so not the best lead for us, and again, Shadow Aggron coming to play here. It is still going to take a lot of damage from these Weather Balls, but they could shield and maintain alignment here. And so that's exactly what's going to happen here. Shifty is definitely on the frail end, but I decided not to shield the Rock Tomb, which is not great because now I get debuffed, and then we Simul KO. So unfortunately, my Shifty just fainted out with a bunch of energy, which is a little bit of a misplay here. So this puts it in a pretty tough spot, not gonna lie. All right, and this is possibly a bait, but if it's not, it's over, and I just didn't have the guts to call it. So there's that. I'm gonna throw energy balls here because I need 2 charge rooms to take this out anyway, so might as well just go for the cheaper one. We do shield the Hurricane there though, which is nice, but still a shield remaining here. Even if this Mew's throwing straight Dragon Claws, I probably lose this. But like I said, we're about to see the second move, and this is exactly what's going to happen in this game number 3, and it's going to be Ice Beam, double Super Effect Ice Beam. So, able to, FinalBossAJ was able to win that last game here. But we did go 2-1, so we are still going into round number 4, I believe. 3-0 against Brown Baller, who is also 3-0 at this moment in time. I am going to throw a Leaf Blade and then swap out. We do shield a Hurricane, which is kind of nice, and then here comes Tyrant. I feel like most of the rocks are actually pretty good into my team now that I think about it. Tyrants, Shadow Aggron. But, you know, this meta is really good because a lot of things have checks to each other, even in the not favorable situations. So yeah, Pelipper's still doing pretty well there. And then we're able to farm down all the way, which is nice. And I know this Pelipper doesn't have too much any energy really, but I decided to swap out here, and I know this is just a Weather Ball, so I'm not super worried. Let's just see what they have in the back. It ends up being a Jump Bluff. Alright, so I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Ball here. 2 shields up. I don't think they're going to shield the first one, and now my next moves are going to do a little bit more damage. So yeah, we're going to be in a good spot here. Or sorry, a little less damage, but with 2 shields up, he's going to have to shield at this point. And then I go for another Dark Pulse here. We actually, I believe, CMP here, which is really nice if that's the case. It is going to be a CMP, which means that I could combo play this with a Foul Play in all likelihood, and even optimize off of that too. So 1 Snarl, 1 Foul Play, that'll be enough to take out the Jump Bluff and the Pelipper. Alright, so going to game number 2 here. I was definitely a little worried about this Haunter, but yeah, luckily we're able to avoid it so far. And then I go Shadow Ball here. I was trying to potentially catch a move, but unfortunately wasn't able to. Let's see how I play this out. I guess I might. Yeah, so I knew I was going to win CMP here, so I was going to be in a good spot. And then Brown Bar is going to shield that. At this point, too, I don't really need Switch Advantage, I think. I think Pelipper with energy is very, very strong into this team. And I do decide to shield. In case they have their own Pelipper, I don't want them to just go straight Weather Balls. Sorry. Yeah, Weather Balls against me. Alright, so we do get a Weather Ball off here. And you can see I'm kind of like, I don't know, trying to optimize. I'm not really sure what I'm doing because I'm debuffed here, right? So I probably don't have too much value in staying in this matchup because even that Dragon Claw just did a ton of damage. So again, let's see if that was a misplay on my end by staying in too long while debuffed, and it looks like it probably is because this Pelipper is definitely getting energy pretty quickly here. I think maybe my also second misplay here is I just go straight smackdowns instead of throwing all these. Let's see. No, I still need to throw there. Yeah, so I think it was fine. But if I just swapped out that Pelipper a little earlier, I would have more health there and maybe have a chance of winning. I don't know. But anyway, definitely misplayed that in that Pelipper versus Tyrant matchup. So going to decisive game number 3 here is going to be the Superior, which is the first time we're seeing it here too. Honestly, my first time facing one in Arcana as well. I'm going to overfarm here and bait with the Weather Ball. Luckily, we do get the bait, and then we end up catching a move here, which is nice because Mew can tank the move better for sure. And then he's going to farm a little bit extra energy. And I'm going to throw a Flame Charge here too. I don't know if he's seen this move yet, but he does shield it. And then we CMP, I believe, on the Rock Slide, which is really nice for me. And then I'm going to let this Energy Ball go through. And then I should come in Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus has a lot of play into the entire lineup of Brown Baller. Honestly, everything hits pretty hard. And then now I come in with the Pelipper as well too. So loaded on energy on both Pokemon with a shield remaining. So I should be in a pretty decent spot. Let's see what he has in the back. Maybe it's that Tyrant again. Yeah, so we are going to shield here. It ends up being an Aerial Ace. So we're going to farm a little bit more. But I don't want to just hard commit to a Wing Attack down because I don't want to get hit by another move. Ends up being that Tyrant, which as expected. But switch times are coming up soon, and again, I have energy on the Cofagrigus, so I could combo play this and throw the Shadow Ball to seal the deal. So, again, a little bit weak to Rock types, but managed to find our way around it. Speaking of Rock types, there's another Shadow Aggron here in the finals here. This is round number 5. Both of us are undefeated going into this matchup here. And a play I like to do is throw the Leaf Blade and dip, so I kind of wanted to respect that and shield a potential Leaf Blade. A big no-shield call from my opponent Babushka here. But yeah, we end up swapping. We get a shield finally, and then we swap into the Mew. I know I can definitely tank a Hurricane, but this is actually a misplay. I was not expecting to get hit by a Weather Ball so quickly there. I clearly lost track of counts. So not great. I come in with my Cofagrigus at least though, and we're just going to tank a potential Hurricane. No, I decided to shield it. I figured it's unlikely that they're going to throw a Weather Ball. At that point, we're down shields, but we have a lot of energy, and even the Shadow Balls are going to do a decent amount of work to the Shift Tree. Actually, ends up being no shielded. But yeah, we get the Dark Pulse shielded here, and yeah, throws right before CMP, so really good counting there. I just need to get to this Hurricane, and the real question is, does this knock out the Cofagrigus at a little above half health? And yes, it does. So barely able to come back from that one, despite my huge misplay by not throwing a single move on Mew into that Pelipper, but I'm glad it worked out. Alright, Shift Tree here, again, throwing the Leaf Blade. Maybe they're coming in counter-swapping with their own Pelipper again. Again, I'm going for another bait because I baited last time. I expect maybe he thinks I made an adjustment. No, the guy is just no-calling all my potential Hurricanes. I'm going to shield, down 2 shields super early already at this point. I expect him not to shield his Weather Ball at this point because he got so much value out of this. That's exactly what happens. But he is going to throw 1 Weather Ball before I Wing Attack down, which I think is smart because he knows that he's not going to get to Hurricane at that point. So we're down 2 shields, but we have a ton of energy. So that's something. Can we get a shield here? And we do. And then here comes Cofagrigus here. And we get the Hurricane off on the Cofagrigus, which is going to be very nice. I come in with Mew here, mainly because... Oh, we actually CMP, which is huge. Mainly because Jump Bluff is so good into the Shift Tree. So I figured I don't really need the Mew anymore. Dark Pulse is almost able to take me out. Not quite, but we get a farm down here. And this is a very tough time for Shift Tree at this point, even with Hurricane. So yeah, able to win the first 2 games here, or clinching the 5-0 in this tournament. But of course, we are going to play a game 3 as well. And here is that Shadow Aggron. I thought we were going to see more, but we do see in the final game here. I am going to throw a Dark Pulse. I expect probably a shield here for my opponent, and we do get the shield. Do we get hit by a Hurricane? This is a real question. I'm going to let this go. Ends up being a Weather Ball, and then I throw another Dark Pulse here. And then they double shield. So now they're double shielding early on, but I'm going to shield a potential Hurricane. Ends up being just a Weather Ball, but that's fine. And then this one I know for sure is a Weather Ball, so I'm going to just let it go. Farm up a little more. Oh, and they actually end up catching an Aggron. But it's not too bad because it's a lot of neutral damage here. So I am going to neutralize this Aggron with my Shift Tree here. And yeah, not too bad. Not in a terrible spot, but I do need to figure out how to take out this Pelipper. So we're going to, again, no shield the Weather Ball and then come in with Jump Bluff here. And then I don't believe that he was at Hurricane Energy, so I let it go. And then I'm just like, all right, I'm going to Fairy Wind this down. There's no way this is a Hurricane. And you can see I completely miscounted. So end up making a misplay in the end to lose that final game. Anyway, overall, I had a lot of fun in this meta. And if anyone else is playing Arcana this month, feel free to steal a team. I think it's really, really solid and really balanced. Of course, you're going to struggle a little bit against the rocks, but as you can see, still a lot of ways to play around it. Thank you all for watching, and shout out to Dragon Silk as well as Victory Road Toronto for hosting the tournament. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye.